Hi everybody, welcome back to a new video on the channel. It's not necessarily a Fulham video today. Instead, I'm going to be trying something different, trying to predict the 2018-19 Premier League, give my opinions from where each out of the 20 teams will finish in this season, and give my reasons why. So coming at the bottom, I think, who are going to come bottom of the league and end up in the Championship again next season will be Cardiff City. Quite a popular team amongst many prediction videos I've seen who are going to come bottom, and it's probably for a very common reason. You look at their signings this season, they brought in Bobby Reid for a couple of £10 million from Bristol City, Greg Cunningham for about £3 million from Preston, Josh Murphy as well for £12 million from Norwich, and also Alex Smithies in a deal from Queen's Park Rangers. And you look at them four signings and you think they're pretty good signings. You know, if you're going to be starting the season in the Championship, it's probably what you'd want. Premier League's a whole different level. And Neil Warnock done a fantastic job to even get Cardiff anywhere near the Premier League last season, getting them to second place. Automatic promotion spot was fantastic. They had a very good season, very consistent. Not one for the football purists, his style of football, but it's winning football nonetheless, as proved last year. But I just don't really see them coming anywhere higher than bottom. The team's not really good enough to try and do much in the Premier League this season. It's a Championship side on paper, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Neil Warnock actually pull a rabbit out of the hat and still try and keep the side up. There's still two days to go in the transfer window. There might be a little bit more movement in and out of Cardiff, I'm not too sure, but on the base of this squad at the moment, I don't see them going anywhere better than 20th. It's coming at number 19 and going down to the Championship. We'll be joining Cardiff City. I picked Huddersfield Town. There's that cliche in this league, the second season is always tough, really. Second season syndrome, it's called. And I do think it'll be another hard campaign for Huddersfield Town. Fantastic last year, even staying in the division was probably the biggest achievement they could have hoped for. Getting that 40 points mark. Sealing of a draw at Chelsea last season as well. Beating the likes of Manchester United at home, having a couple of good results away from home as well. They had a very good season. Looking at their sides, they've brought Ramadan Sobhi from Stoke, Eric Durham from Dortmund, Terence Gongolo's joined on a permanent deal, as has Jonas Lossell, the good goalkeeper, who was quite a standout performer last year, and they've also signed Diakabi, young striker from Monaco as well. Some of their most notable signings. Also, Tom Ince has left to join Gary Rowett at Stoke for £12 million. He played on Sunday and didn't play too great really in their 3-1 defeat at Leeds. But as I said, I think similar to Cardiff, the quality might not be there. They've probably got a little bit more better quality than Cardiff have, but I think in terms of the level, it's going to be hard to replicate a performance of they matched last year. David Wagner, surprised he stayed there at Huddersfield this season, but if his loyalty deserves a reward, it would be that they stay in the Premier League for a second season, but I just don't look like it's likely to me. And coming at number 18, the third team has joined Huddersfield and Cardiff and dropping down to the Championship. I've selected Watford. I just think that the constant managerial chopping and changing might just eventually catch up with them. It could be a season too far for me in terms of the constant changing, not much stability at the club in terms of managerial in the last couple of years. Look at some of their signings: Ben Foster, Ken Sema coming in from Ostersons, Ben Wilmot, a good young prospect from Stevenage, Messina and Ceciliano as well coming in. And you just got to think, if they can keep a manager for one season at least, keep stability wise, keep managing for a couple of seasons, then it would be fine. But personally for me, I think the constant chopping and the changing, I've said, is going to catch up with them. It could be a very long season. Troy Deeney was linked with a move to Cardiff a couple of weeks ago for £15 million. Bluebirds have called their interest in that move there. And if he stays, I think he's not going to get much game time, so I could see him possibly moving towards deadline to a club somewhere up the table. But I think that's, as I said, a bridge too far for Watford and a season too far for me. So just beating the drop and finishing the 17th for me, I selected Brighton and Hove Albion, just for the fact that a fantastic season last year, similar to Huddersfield, staying in the league was probably their main objective. They achieved that quite comfortably in the end with a good win against Manchester United, sealing that. They had a good season last year as well, played some good football against some of the big boys. Were probably found out a bit as their thumping at the Amex against Liverpool suggested, but against some of the lesser teams in the league, they did match them quite competitively and did quite well to even stand in the league last year. Looking at some of their signings they've signed Jason Steele, goalkeeper from Sunderland, David Button as well from Fulham, Basuma, Andone, Balogun and Da Silva as well. So there's quite a few interesting signings there, quite a few flair players, some positions they need to strengthen in, especially at the back as well. That's why I brought Nigerian international Balogun in. And I just think it's going to be a good season this year, an average season for Brighton this year. They will start just by the skin of their teeth. It'll be a long season, but I just don't really see them having enough problems to fall into the bottom three. It's coming in 16th, I've set to Newcastle United. So this is all dependent on whether Rafa Benitez would stay at the club or not. And as you can see, there was talk yesterday of Newcastle players refusing to do the walk-on things for the Premier League, where they go through the starting lineups and do the walk-ons where they put their head up and stuff. Mick Quinn on TalkSport this morning referred to it as someone out of Coronation Street, which is quite funny in my opinion as well. And you look at some of their signings: Fabian Schär coming in for £3 million, Muto, the Japanese striker, coming in from Mainz for I think £7 million, and also yesterday a swap deal saw Dwight Gal go to West Brom and Salomon Rondon go the other way to join Newcastle United, both on season-long loan deals. A couple of good signings there. Schär for £3 million, an absolute steal. Rondon will add some good strength up front. He'll run the channels quite well, provide that big bully of a striker they've needed since losing Mitrovic to Fulham for £27 million. And you've got to start to think Mike Ashley's really starting to run this club into the ground. not pumped hardly any money into this team this season. I was quite confident if Newcastle, after last year as well, getting a very good finish last year, finishing in the top half. Kennedy's also joined again on loan as well from Chelsea after a very good season last year. He came in January last year, and it's probably one of the reasons why Newcastle finished in the top half. He's joined again on another season-long loan deal. Another good signing for Newcastle. But you really got to think though, what more can Rafa Benitez do at Newcastle with these type of funds? If he had an owner who backed him week in, week out of some good funds throughout the summer, then you'd probably see Newcastle competing for Europe. It's a great club with such great potential, but the owners are so narrow-minded and blinded to the fact that what's going on around him. He just seems to be not interested, and for that reason, I think they'll finish 16th if Rafa stays. If Rafa leaves, I could easily see him swapping out with Watford and dropping into the bottom three. It's coming to 15th, I've gone for Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace will be fine this year. Another comfortable season under Roy Hodgson. I don't think they'll have such a bad start as they did last year, where they had Frank de Boer in charge, failed to score a goal in their first 5 games and even win a game in their first 5 games as well. He was subsequently sacked. Roy Hodgson came in, done a fantastic job, considering how much of a head start other teams had in terms of league, in terms of the way the team started as well. They had quite a head start on Crystal Palace. He done well to even get him in competitive into contention throughout the league and get him into a good mid-table finish last year. They signed Guaita, the goalkeeper, Chiku Kouyaté and Max Meyer, the 3 main signings. Meyer joins over 100 grand a week. And potential marquee signing after being released from Schalke. One of German football's brightest prospects a few seasons ago. He seems to have gone off the radar a bit, so this move to Palace could be make or break for him. Could kick-start his career potentially. If it's a good season here, you never know what can happen. Sky could be the limit for him. And I think 15th would be a good finish for them, quite comfortable this year. Coming at the number 14, I've gone with Bournemouth. Again, they're similar to Crystal Palace. Might be down at the bottom 3 this year. I think they'll be a quite quiet season, but a comfortable season. Notable signings: David Brooks, also Jefferson Lerma's having a medical ahead of a 25 million move from, I think it was Levante, I think it is, out in Spain. A Colombian midfielder, was involved in the World Cup squad as well. Very good signing if they can get it over the line for Bournemouth. They have a quiet season again, done very well the last couple of years. Eddie House done a fantastic job down there, building that side up from a championship squad, moulding it into a Premier League capability squad to even stay in the league for the past 3 seasons, having a big achievement. Pressing into the top half again last season was a very good achievement as well. And I do fancy him to do well this season, but I think 14th would be a reasonable finish. So coming at number 13, my team Fulham. I've chosen to come 13th. I think, again, similar to most teams who've come up, I think we'll have enough to stay in this league, but probably not enough to break into that top half just yet. I'll say just yet because some of the signings we've made are fantastic, but going by Saturday's pre-season game, we still look a bit suspect at the back. Going forward, we look really well. Plenty of chance to create it on Saturday. Mitrovic is a good signing. We've got that goal scorer that some other clubs in this league potentially don't really have, and that's probably make or break for some teams. If you get a goal scorer who can score potentially 15, 20 goals a season mark, you'll be okay. Look at some of our other signings, as you all know. Jean-Michel Seri's joined from Nice, as has Maxime Lemarchand. Alfie Mawson's joined as well from Swansea. Fabry and Andre Schürrle and other notable signings as well. And I think we'll be fine. I think a 13th finish will be fantastic for us. Main aim, stay in this division for this next season and potentially build again for the next season coming up. It's coming to 12th, I've selected Leicester. And you've got to look at Leicester and think, where could they end up this season? It's a conundrum, really, in my opinion. Claude Puel's not got the support of many of the players, as was noted last season. He's made a couple of good signings. Pereira, the Portuguese right-back's joined. James Maddison's joined for big money from Norwich as well. Fantastic player he is. Had a very good breakthrough season last season at Norwich, created some multiple chances and looked a very good player. Also, Johnny Evans has joined for £3 million from West Brom after he put his relegation clause in. Leicester put a bid in, they signed him as well. Leicester yesterday also had a bid rejected for Brentford defender Chris Mepham. I think it was in the region of £15 million. Another good young prospect, plying his trade in the Championship and getting very many plaudits as well. But you've got to think Leicester could finish. I think a 12th place finish would be good for Leicester. It all depends on whether Puel stays or not. I think if Puel were to leave, depend on who Leicester would get in. You could see them finishing higher or lower. It could go either way for Leicester this season. But I think 12th is quite realistic for me. At 11th, I've gone with Southampton this season. They had a very tough season last year under Pellegrino. He got sacked midway through the season. Mark Hughes came in, done the main job of keeping Southampton in the league, and I think the season stability will be good. Mark Hughes is the type of guy who can do that. Obviously turned Stoke around quite well in the past couple of years, a couple of top half finishes, followed by quite a dismal campaign last year. Their progress took a bit of a nosedive, but I think he's the right man short term for Southampton in terms of keeping them in the league. But I think looking at long term, they might want to replace him in a couple of seasons' time. Looking at their signings, Yannick Vestergaard's joined from, I think, Mönchengladbach, a big, tall Danish centre-half. Angus Gunn's joined from Man City after a good season at Norwich last year. Stuart Armstrong's joined from Celtic as well, and also El Younousi as well has joined, a very good attacking player as well. So I do think if they can if they have a better campaign, also Sofiane Boufal's left the club as well. But you've got to look at Southampton, they had a very good campaign this year. It could reinstall some hope into the fans after losing their way ever since Claude Puel got sacked, really. And you've got to think to yourself, if Mark Hughes can replicate some good form, they should be okay. So breaking into the top 10, I've gone with Sean Dyche's Burnley. Ben Gibson's joined, so has Joe Hart this morning. He's joined from Man City as well. Two good signings there. European football this season as well. They got through against Aberdeen last week in the qualifying round to go on the next round against Istanbul. Fantastic season last year. Very, very good. Many pundits didn't expect Burnley to finish in the top 7 last year. They've done fantastically well to even get anywhere near that. Quite a few good players. A very good team as well. A very good structure Burnley have got. A good recruitment policy. Plenty of good ideas. And I think a good 10th position again with European football will be fantastic. It's coming at number 9, I've gone with Wolves. Wolves had a fantastic season last year, the most consistent team in the Championship by a country mile. Look at their signings this season: João Moutinho, Rui Patricio and Raul Jimenez as well. But Adama Traore could be coming in at the moment. He's in talks with Wolves ahead of a £10 million move, which could rise £20 million from Middlesbrough. And if they can get him in, it'll be a very good signing, a very good player in my opinion on this day. And I think a 9th place finish will be a very good finish for Wolves. First season back in the Championship. Hard game against Everton coming up on Saturday, but I think they'll be fine, and I think they could really, really cause a few upsets this season. It's coming at 8th, I've gone with West Ham. Pellegrini's West Ham. Made a few good signings. Ryan Fredericks on a free transfer, Balbuena, Felipe Anderson for big money, and Diop as well. A couple of good players in there who could add to a very good squad. Similar to my 7th place prediction, could be a bit of a conundrum really, because you don't know with West Ham what you're going to get. Last season was a bit of a torrid time really. I mean, you've only got to look at that Burnley game last year at home to see what the hell was going on there. It was absolutely crazy. Fans on the pitch and everything like that. If they can put their problems off the pitch to rest, I think they can have a very good season. Pellegrini's a tried and tested Premier League manager, knows what he's doing in this division. I think it'll be a very dab-hand and a very shrewd acquisition. Coming at number 7, I've gone with Marco Silva's Everton. You have to look at Everton. Lucas Digne's drawn Richarlison for £50 million as well. And also Bernard, the Brazilian, on a free transfer, could be coming into Goodison Park. Again, similar to West Ham, a bit of a conundrum. They had a poor season last year under Sam Allardyce. Ronald Koeman was in charge at the start of the season. He spent £100 million on potential players who didn't really cut the mustard. Allardyce came in to try and save him from relegation. He did that, but was subsequently sacked after Everton fans were not happy with the way their team was playing their football last year. I think a 7th place finish under a good manager who was probably cruelly sacked from Watford last year. He likes to play good attacking footballs. We've seen that the likes of Hull as well, he's done quite well. And I think a top 7 finish for them would be a good campaign after last year's bit of a miserable one. Coming at number 6, I've got Manchester United. Probably a bit of a surprise for many people, but United haven't really done notable moves in transfer. They've also signed Fred, Lee Grant on a free transfer for the homegrown reasons, and Diogo Dalot as well, a good young right back from Porto. Obviously, looking at Yerry Mina could be joining the club, or Thibaut Alderweireld, but Jose Mourinho has been publicly come out and said he wants to try and get Harry Maguire in. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's probably going to be quite unrealistic now. Leicester want about £60 million after his good World Cup campaign. I think it could be a quiet season for United. I don't really see him breaking into the top 4. And Mourinho looks like he isn't interested at the moment. I can see him potentially walking away as well. So breaking into 5th, I've gone with Maurizio Sarri's Chelsea, and I just don't think Chelsea have improved much from last year at all. Made one notable signing, which is Jorginho from Napoli. Conte's now left the club after winning a Premier League and FA Cup in 2 seasons. I mean, what more does Chelsea want there? He's done fantastically well under quite tough circumstances at Chelsea. Sarri's come in, he's got a notable manager who's got quite a mouth on him. I mean, if you're an Italian football watcher like myself last season, he got into quite a lot of trouble for some of his words. Roberto Mancini, who's now the Italian manager, doesn't really like him after some comments he made to him, which were quite derogatory last year as well. So you've got to look at Chelsea and think 5th place for me, maximum. Haven't improved on last year, being brutally honest. One notable player who could come through, Callum Hudson-Odoi, a good youngster who's involved in their Charity Shield defeat against Man City on Sunday, could be one to break through. Breaking to the top 4, Tottenham Hotspurs for me, top 4 again for me. You've got to really look and think, if Pochettino can get him into a top 4, win a cup, with no transfers this season, no notable transfer business made, then he could potentially be on the move. I think a potential suit would be Man United if Mourinho were to leave the club and Pochettino were to have a good season at Spurs. He could end up going there. Tottenham have got a few problems at the moment. The new stadium's not ready yet, and you've got to look at the squad and think, this is a very similar thing to Arsenal, where they could be moving to a new stadium, brand new stadium, and failing to compete in that upper echelons of the league for European competition. And a good season last year in the Champions League. Being likes of Real Madrid at home, was technically at home, at their temporary home at Wembley, I should say. And had a very good season last year. Probably again at the moment, you're seeing Tottenham failing to win anything. This is probably one of their best squads they've ever had, and a failure to win anything is probably going to be one of the biggest Biggest disappointments, I think, for Tottenham, but I think a top 4 and a potentially League Cup for them would be a considerably good season. So coming in at third, I've gone with Unai Emery's Arsenal. I think Arsenal have a good campaign this year. I'm a big fan of Unai Emery. Wenger's now left the club, going through a rebuilding process, but I do think Arsenal will cause damage this season. They've signed some good players. Socrates, Torreira, Bernard Leno are 3 notable signings to add to what they've already got there. And I do fancy Arsenal to go quite well. I like Unai Emery, done a fantastic job in Spain with Sevilla. Obviously was at PSG last year as well. Didn't do too badly there either. A very good coach in his day. It's going to take time for Arsenal to adapt to what he wants to do after a good 20 odd years was it now of a Wenger dictatorship at Arsenal. So it's good to see him actually going through some change, and I do fancy him to do quite well this year. To come at number 2nd, I've gone with Pep Guardiola's Man City. Fantastic last year, untouchable last year in terms of what they did. Riyad Mahrez, the most notable signing, £60 million. And I just think they'll come up short against my prediction to win the league, I think. Despite having a very good season, looking invincible throughout parts of last year. Good Champions League campaign, got to a quarter-final of that last year, won the league quite comfortably, won a few cups as well. So positive season again, but I just think they'll come up short. And my prediction to win the Premier League is Liverpool. I think they've addressed all their main issues last year. Alisson's coming for big money, Naby Keita, Fabinho, Shaqiri, 3 other summer transfers. And I think for me, they were the only team who could actually give Man City a game last year and get anywhere near them properly, because they blew them away in the league at Anfield last year. Took them apart in the Champions League as well in that first half, blitzing at Anfield. And I think if they can keep that consistency going, get that defence tightened up, which has been their Achilles heel, because going forward on their day, they can blow any team away. And you've just got to think if they can get that defence tightened up with Alisson at the back, with Virgil van Dijk as well, they could potentially win this league. And I think if Jurgen Klopp were to win this league, it would make up for the cup finals he's lost. Obviously, Champions League last year he got beaten, and the 3 other ones, including the League Cup the previous couple of seasons ago. If he can win the league title for Liverpool, it'll be a fantastic achievement. So have it, guys. There's my Premier League 2018-19 predictions. If you do like it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment below your predictions, and we'll see you Saturday for the Crystal Palace vlog.